Hi friends, welcome to another video. Again, got our beautiful rainbow backdrop. Oh, hello Johan. Sorry, just have to wait for through traffic to come through. Oh no, he's just decided he's gonna sit. Oh well, that's alright, we can work around him. That is the life when you have a cat, working around them constantly. What I'm going to show you today is a corner to corner stitch. Now, corner to corner is super easy. You can use it for making blankets, scarves, absolutely anything, and it's one of my absolute favorites. My very first big blanket that I ever made when I crocheted was a corner to corner blanket. So what we do for a corner to corner, we get our hook that matches our yarn, and again I've picked our beautiful pink twister solid. What we'll do is we start with a chain of 6. Okay, so our chain of 6 for our corner to corner starts with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now that we've started with 6, we're going to go down to the 4th chain in the row. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. And in this 4th, we're going to do a double crochet. Okay, so just in that chain space, 1 double crochet. Remember that I'm working in American crochet terms as well. Okay, so then in the 2nd space, we'll do another double crochet. So we've got 1, yarn over, wrap around once, twice, and then in the final space, 1 more double crochet. So we've got 1, 2. So there we go. This is what your corner to corner stitch will look like. It looks a bit wonky, it looks a bit funny, but trust me, you're going to be so impressed by the time we get done here. Okay, so we turn our work, and once again, we chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And again, we go back to the 4th chain on the hook. So that should be that one there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, yep. And then we do a double crochet again in each of those chains. So 1 double crochet. In the next space, 2 double crochets, and in the next space we've got a 3rd double crochet. Now you're sort of sitting there going, well, you've got 2 sort of wonky shapes, what are you going to do with them? On the very left hand stitch of our first one, we're actually going to do a slip stitch in here. So just one tiny little slip, then we'll chain 3, 1, 2, 3, which will count as a stitch, and then we'll do 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Do you kind of see how that's starting to take shape? It's a little bit of a heart shape at the moment. Sorry, I just took my hook out just so you could see a little bit better. Let's zoom in a little more. See, you can kind of see it's a little bit of a heart shape now. So that's actually the corner of our work. So we'll pop our hook back in, and then again, we start on our wonderful repetition of chain of 6. So basically what we're doing is in each of these, we're creating a little block, basically. So each block then builds on the block in like behind it or underneath it until we get a project. And so it's corner to corner because this is actually one corner, and then we build up row by row in a V. So we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we go down to our 4th chain on the hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We pop a double crochet into here. 1, and then in the next space another double crochet, 2, and then in the final space another double crochet, 3. Okay, and since we started here, sometimes it's easier to get easy to get a little turned around. Okay, so we go to the 4th open stitch. So we count 1, 2, 3, 4 on the row below. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, and in that space we do a slip stitch. This little slip. We chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and then we do 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Oh, don't catch your other stitches while you're there. Okay, so that's another little block we've done, and then in our final one we need to count out that 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's our last space again, and then in there we do another slip stitch. Try not to lose our yarn, and then we do a chain of 3, 1, 2, 3, and then 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Now if I turn it over, it's even easier to see the corner of our work. And that's just 1, 2, 3 rows. And basically what you want to do with your double crochet is just your corner to corner crochet is keep continuing in that way until you reach the size that you want it. So for this example, let's just do one more row, and then I'll show you what to do to actually keep it the size that you want. So it's going to be very skinny. Yours can be as wide or as skinny as you want. You can make it as wide as a queen size bed like I did on my first go. That was a project and a half, making my giant corner to corner blanket. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The best thing with these corner to corner blankets is it's really easy to turn them into what's called a graph-gan. So basically using some graphing paper or Excel and changing your boxes down to like little individual squares, you can actually indicate a color for each square, and then you can change the colors to actually make a picture. And I'll give you a little bit more of instructions on how to create your own graph-gan a bit later on, once we've covered a few more stitches and a few more projects. So let's count down to our 4th stitch on the hook. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. We'll yarn over and double crochet there. And in a second, yarn over and double crochet there, and then one more, yarn over and double crochet in there. And then we find our, sorry, it's turned around, find our next square. And remember, in that last stitch, we do a nice little, oh, didn't need to yarn over there, do a nice little slip stitch to join. Then we do a chain of 3, 1, 2, 3, then 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then in the next little square, we find our end crochet, we do a slip stitch in there, and we want chain 3, so we have 1, 2, 3, and then we do 3 more double crochets. 1, 2, 3. And then in our very last one, find our final chain space, right there he is. And then we do a slip stitch in there. And do chain of 1, 2, 3, and then 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now what if we decide that we want that to be the corner? Very, very good question, and a very easy answer. What we do is in the top of every stitch, we simply do a slip stitch. So slip stitch 1, 2, and then in the top of the last one, slip stitch 3. It can be a little tight, remember, I told you that I crochet very tightly. So there's the first basically the first corner. Okay, so now that we've got that first corner down, what we want to do is do a chain 3. So go 1, 2, 3, and then 3 double crochets in that space. So that's in the space where we made basically at the end of every stitch. Well, we created at the start of the stitch where we do the chain 3. So this is the space where you actually put your new stitches. So then the next one up, we do a slip stitch to add him in. Then we do our chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3. And then in our next one, we find that last stitch, do a slip stitch there, then yarn over and do a chain of 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we do 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, and then in the very last one, you find the last chain. There it is. Do a slip stitch in there. We chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Now if you turn it over, you'll see there you have your 2 corners. So that's just the way you just keep working it up. So on the taller side, you'll build. So you'll do your chain of 6 and then do 3 double crochets, join, 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 and then join to the last one. And then instead of going longer, you'll stop here and then flip him over and then do slip stitches all the way up until you can do your next row of corner to corner crochet. It looks a little tricky. It might take you a couple of tries at first, but all over, once you get the hang of it, it's super easy and it'll actually give you a really soft dappled texture to it, almost like little waves, which feels fantastic. And finally, before we go, I'm going to show you a bigger project that I've done using corner to corner crochet. Okay, and here is what a bigger corner to corner crochet project looks like. So this side is the side where I've done all the slip stitches to make it a straight side, and this is just where we've built on the other side. So as you can see, it can get very big very fast, especially if you use very thick yarn. So I hope you use that as a little bit of inspiration, and I will see you in our next video.